Hello, everybody. I'm Lori Jo Vest with Pop Speed Digital Marketing. We are getting started a few minutes late today. Let's just say we're running a little slower on this Thursday than we may have otherwise been running. So I'm here with Kylie Metcalf, and we are going to talk about social media versus social media marketing. There's a huge difference between the two things. And we want to kind of go through that and get into, the nuts and bolts of what is actually social media marketing instead of just doing social media. So just because you're doing social media doesn't mean you're doing good marketing. So that's what we're talking about today. So Kylie, let's talk about what we mean when we say doing social media.
Exactly. So when we think of social media, we think of it initially on more of a personal level, right? It's
Yes.
fun. You keep up with family and friends there, acquaintances, maybe coworkers, whatever the case may be. It's very lackadaisical. We refer to it as our highlight reel. It's low maintenance. It's not, the biggest priority, and there's not much of a strategy there. And what we
Yeah.
find is that a lot of brands treat it this way too, because it works in such a fun, lighthearted way, on a personal basis. A lot of brands and a lot of organizations, once they kind of kick off their social media presence for their company, they treat it in a similar way. That is not the same as social media marketing and the way that
Yeah.
we do things.
So doing social media would be I'm going to bring in the youngest person on the team and say, "Hey, can you do our social content?" And then send them off to do whatever they want. Or it's kind of like, "Oh, look, they dressed up as twins today. They're both wearing the same shirt. Let's take a picture
Exactly.
of them and put it up on our social media." That's doing social media, and it can be fun. It can be awesome, but it's not social media marketing. And social media marketing has become a very important part of your marketing budget, your marketing plan, your strategy. It should be an integral part of what you do. And we
Exactly.
are still talking to agencies and companies that really kind of don't get it. I mean, isn't
Hmm.
it surprising sometimes, Kylie, where they're like, well, my
It
son
really
does it really
is.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think that we've kind of seen it on both ends of the spectrum. We see people that say social media doesn't work. There's no benefit to it. It doesn't get us ROI. And then, if we were to take a look back at maybe past efforts, we see that they were
Mhm.
doing social media. And then we have some other people that might think that, they're doing things with a little bit of intention, but realistically, it's being used in a more personal way than we would
Right.
suggest marketing. So really there's so many nuances to the difference between social media and using it as a marketing tool. And we've
Hmm.
we've seen it all, honestly, all different kinds
Yeah.
of rhymes and reasons why it might not be effective the way that certain brands
Yeah.
are using their
Well,
platforms.
and I've been on calls with people who um, wait, let me stop for 1 second. Let's talk about what social media marketing is, and then I'll tell the story. When you are doing social media marketing, you have goals, you have KPIs, you have a plan, and you know what you want your results to be. So each decision you're making in the process of creating the content, scheduling it, following up and looking at the analytics is done with intention.
Hmm.
That is something that we don't see as much of as we would like to see as people who live in the social media space. And
Right.
for example, I've been on a call with someone who said, "Well, I know how social media works. I don't like to see multiple posts from the same person. And so I only want us to post once every couple months."
Hmm.
And my head exploded. No, it didn't really, but it felt like it was going to if I didn't hang on to it
Yeah.
because that's doing social media in a way that you as a person use it. It's very, very different when it's being used purposefully by an organization, a company, a nonprofit, a brand. Totally different
Hmm.
activity. But people have
Absolutely.
very strong opinions about it because they have their own social media, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
So tell us about the big difference between the two.
Yes, the absolute key difference that everybody should know about is that social media marketing generates ROI, social media in the way that you would use it on your personal account will not generate ROI. You'll
Yeah.
hear us talk pretty often about how authenticity matters in a brand's social media marketing efforts, excuse me, and it does. However,
Yeah.
that's still not the same thing as just doing social media. What leads to this ROI is a presence that is based in your goals. So what we
Mm.
would like to do, in the middle or at the beginning of an engagement with a client is go over what you want this engagement to achieve. What do we want to
Mhm.
see? What would ROI look like? What does success look like from our social media marketing efforts? And ROI is generated by knowing those goals, being intentional in every decision that we make and what we put out into the social media universe with those goals in mind. So whether, we have some clients where we use social media primarily to generate qualified leads,
Yeah.
increase sales, of course, donations, volunteers, event attendees, whatever the case may be, with those goals in mind, ROI becomes so much more within reach.
And it's achievable. It really is achievable. And we see it all the time. So, what goes into a social media campaign or a marketing effort? The ideation, audits. We are constantly auditing, looking at the back end of what we're doing,
Mhm.
researching what the competitors are doing. Is there something they could do that they do that's really working that
Mhm.
we may want to kind of borrow and make it our own or be inspired by? It takes time, it takes money, and it takes resources. And none of it is exponentially, insanely time consuming. But it's what we keep saying, that intention behind it is what makes a difference.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think to generate that ROI, kind of how we've said it earlier, that all comes back to strategy, and that strategy comes back to what your goals are. So when you're crafting your social media marketing strategy, some things need to really be at the forefront of that decision making process. First and foremost, everybody on the team and everybody involved needs to be committed to the strategy.
Mhm.
This means that the decisions that we're making, the campaigns that we are presenting to our audience via social media, every move that we make is with a commitment and an intention to the strategy. Takes us into
Mhm.
intention, right? Every
Yes.
um, every facet of content is with the intention of getting closer to our goals and KPIs. It takes significant collaboration. I can speak for
Mhm.
us. We rely in a lot of cases on our clients, whether it's we need this specific photo of the team or in healthcare, like if you have a patient that's willing to take a photo with that doctor because they're happy with how their appointment went, whatever, things like that.
Mhm.
It takes a lot of collaboration between us and our clients because, ultimately we get to know our clients very well. We know the ins and outs, but especially at the beginning of an engagement, nobody knows your brand as well as you do. And it's
Mhm.
on us to eventually get there. But really, it's so important in those early stages that you collaborate with us and like help us get there. Um,
Mhm.
Execution, it's on us to create good, effective content with all of the like ins and outs and nuances of social media that we know work. And that's truly where I think our big value proposition is we spend so much time keeping up with trends in social media, what the algorithm is looking for, what our audience wants, that execution really comes down to us being well informed and making
Mhm.
decisions accordingly. A good strategy needs to evolve. Sometimes things change.
Mhm.
Sometimes audience behaviors change and consumer preferences change, and maybe something that worked a year ago isn't going to work today. So with our ultimate goals still in mind, sometimes we need to adapt our strategy, and that needs to be okay. And finally, and definitely among the most important pieces of a strategy, it needs
Yes.
it needs time. We don't want to abandon a strategy too soon. or else it kind of leads us back to square one, and we're in this constant hamster wheel of trying to reinvent what we're doing instead of giving that initial strategy and those goals time to work, really.
Yep, it takes time. Things take time, especially if you are starting a new venture. It
Hmm.
takes time to evolve your voice, your brand, your content, and learn what your new audience or your target audience responds to. That
Hmm.
itself could take time. But once you nail it, you can just exponentially increase your results. I mean, it's crazy how if you give it time, the things that you learn will speed things up when it comes to getting results down the line. So
Absolutely.
and what you can expect when you're doing social media marketing is results with a solid strategy and commitment, adherence to the strategy. You
Hmm.
will get ROI. And we
Hmm.
do for all of our clients, we do monthly reporting where we send them a deck of here's what's happening on your social channels. Here's the traffic that we sent to the website. If the traffic to the website doesn't convert, we will be looking at the website and hoping to collaborate with you to make that page more appealing or
Hmm.
give the consumer more options, things that will turn that into conversion. So we're not just sitting here on social sending users to your website and expecting things to happen. We're following it through to that conversion, which is really important. I mean, why do social media if you're not getting results? There's just no sense to it. So
Hmm.
yeah, and the pros do it best. There really are things that we know. I've been working in this space for, let's see, since 2006. That's a lot of years. I had a book come out in 2008 and started promoting that book, ended up in big agency land. Now we have several different types of clients, local, regional, global, and we have learned a lot in that process. Kylie's been with Pop Speed Digital for 4 years now. Molly's been with us for 3 years. We are all really well versed and immersed
Well versed and
in the
immersed.
social space, and that makes a difference. It really
Yeah.
does. So if you're struggling, we are here for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you said too, Lori, really lends itself to why it's so important to have professionals and experts on your team. Going back to one of our last slides when you mentioned if we're sending a lot of people to a landing page and it's not converting, that is
Yes.
where I think a lot of things get lost in translation. Oh, social media is not working. That's why it's good to have a full digital marketing agency on your side, because
Yeah.
if the social media isn't working, if you look at the back end, the social media is working. If you're getting clicks to your landing page, that's what we ask of our audience. Then it's on
Yep.
us to figure out, okay, what might be wrong with this landing page? So we really take a look at everything from a full lens to figure out,
Yes.
okay, is it the social media? Is it maybe this other piece of your digital marketing that we can maybe think a little bit more about? Which is another super important piece of social media, using it as a marketing tool instead of just a for fun tool, is it's a
Yes.
piece of a much larger puzzle that's designed to help you reach your goals.
Yes, and that's one reason just social media isn't all we do.
Hmm.
We support the social media efforts we do for our clients with sometimes a monthly newsletter, email marketing, maybe it's a planned 6 email campaign. We
Right.
do SEO content so that when people are on your social media, we have somewhere to send them to get further information. Helpful, useful information are things that people respond to. Who is your
Hmm.
audience and what can you share with them that would be helpful to them? How can you show them that you're committed to them and what they need? So there's a lot of different things that we do as social media marketers. And so if it's not your space, it is our space. And we would love
Okay.
to hear from you. We are both open networkers here on LinkedIn, and our website at popspeeddigital.com has a blog that has all kinds of great information. The things that we've learned, we share very openly. We also have an e-newsletter that shares lots and lots of social media and digital marketing tips. So head over to our website, sign up for our email, give us a like here on this LinkedIn Live, and we will see you soon with another LinkedIn Live or Facebook Live or YouTube Live. I don't know that we're actually running it on Facebook, but I know we're on LinkedIn, we also put it on YouTube. So
Yep.
if you're on either of those channels, head over to our website, take a peek, and get in touch with us there. We'd love to hear from you. So that's all we've got today. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, everybody.